Welcome back. As always, be sure to leave a comment if you have anything to add to this video, any comments about this series or the channel in general. Also be sure to check out my other channel, YC Games, and also be sure to check out this channel every Wednesday at 7 p.m. where I will be live streaming and just mostly talking about Borderlands 4 predictions anyway. So, you know, if you want a little prequel to these videos, that'd be a good time to do it. And with all that out of the way, let's jump right into this video because we are now talking about experimental game mechanics, which, those of you who don't know what that means, basically means anything to add to this game that wasn't in a previous game, or any things they've added to previous games that I hope they continue into Borderlands 4. So let's get right into it. So starting off right off the bat with the one thing that I wish they would have added more to 3 is the low gravity. Now that was such a huge inclusion of the pre-sequel, and I'm not saying that it should be like fully implemented like it was in the pre-sequel with Oz kits and all that jazz, but having more low gravity sections I think would greatly improve 4. We had the 1 and 3 and that was such a fun section. I think it would be such a cool inclusion to have more into 4. Maybe not add Oz kits again because that was a bit too much, but give us the whole like vacuum versus oxygen rich environment sections like we had in 3, because that changed up the gameplay so well. It was just such a fun inclusion of like, hey, I'm gonna activate that oxygen area so now I can use fire in that little bubble. Stuff like that was just such a good dynamic to the game, and I think that if we had like maybe more distance between those kind of bubbles, there'd be such a good inclusion in the gameplay. It'd be so fun on the fly of like, yep, that's oxygen, I'm gonna use fire in that area. Oh no, that's a vacuum, I'm not gonna use that. Now obviously not every section. I think that the pre-sequel was a lot of that, and I would like a step down from that, but more that we saw in 3, a better, healthier split between low gravity and non-low gravity, vacuum versus oxygen rich environments, stuff like that, to really switch it up, because the pre-sequel introduced that mechanic and it was so fun. It's a shame that we didn't see a lot of that in 3, and they implemented it very minorly, and I'm glad they still accept that and respect that as a mechanic, but I'd like to see that more in 4 because it was so fun. It was fun to be able to jump higher. It was fun to be able to get the height advantage, then slam down enemies, activate some oxygen bubble and then flame them up, or deprive the oxygen, shoot them in the face, and then they take extra oxygen damage. Stuff like that was so cool in pre-sequel. I would love for them to implement that into 4. Let's get this one out of the way right away. Pretty early still, because it's a rough one and I hate it, but unfortunately it is the state of gaming in general right now in 2024. When Borderlands 4 comes out, there is a very, very good chance there will be some microtransactions, and I hate it. They don't belong in Borderlands. I'm going to state that right now, but they were recently, as of me making this video, acquired by Take-Two. So there's a very, very good chance that they will be pushed in the direction of adding microtransactions. Now, I'm not totally against this if it sticks to strictly cosmetics, like those cool little gun charms and weapon skins they added in 3. That was really kind of setting up to being a microtransaction anyway, or like little added games as a service kind of elements. And I don't care. I'm okay with that. I never added a gun charm. Like, yeah, it was cool, whatever. Like, my first playthrough, I did add them because I thought they were cool. But every playthrough after that, I didn't give a shit. And even now, if they want to add that in Borderlands 4, if they want to charge me $5 for a little Vault symbol dangling from my gun, okay, they can. I'm not going to pay it. But for those whales that will, fine. Let Gearbox, let Take-Two get their $5. I don't care. However, if they charge any money for guns or skills or anything beyond that, like if they're charging whatever beyond that, anything more than cosmetic, I'll be the first one telling you right now, I'll boycott the game. I don't care. If they say day one, hey, yeah, you know, buy our game, and if you get the deluxe edition, day one you can get the conference call, you can get the infinity pistol, any of those like fan favorite legendary guns. If they're gonna hold those behind a paywall, nope, I'm not even buying the game. That's where I stand out personally. Everyone's gonna stand on their own, and I respect anyone's decision. If you're okay with paying that amount, fine, you do what you want, it's your life. But me personally, anything beyond cosmetic, I won't even buy the game for microtransactions, because microtransactions really have infected the gaming sphere, and I fucking hate it. But I understand it, and it's fine. If they want to charge extra for stupid little cosmetics and people are willing to pay it, fine by me, they can do it. But when it starts affecting gameplay, I'm out. And that's where I personally stand. Might be controversial, that's fine. Let me know where you guys stand in the comments, because I'm okay with cosmetics. That's fine. It just make my gun look pretty. Fine, whatever. I'll throw an extra $5 on it if I really, really like it. But me personally, I won't. But hey, if people want to, that's fine. But when it starts hurting my gameplay by not paying that money, now we got a problem. I'm gonna move on because I'm starting to get heated, and I just want to move on. So let's move on. Now, having unique lines of dialogue for each Vault Hunter was something they introduced in the DLC for Borderlands 2, continued on really in pre-sequel, and then kind of continued on in Borderlands 3. But if they're going to do it in 4, I would definitely rather go the pre-sequel route, because in 3, it really feels like, okay, I say my thing, then they say their thing, and then the NPC's just going to say their thing regardless of what the Vault Hunter says. And it doesn't really feel like unique dialogue. In pre-sequel, whatever the Vault Hunter said actually impacted the NPC's next response. Like, that's how a conversation should go. In 3, it felt a lot more lazy. Like, it didn't matter what the Vault Hunter said. They hit whatever essential key points they had to for the NPC to say their line of dialogue. It would be so much better if they actually said something that continued the conversation. Not just, okay, hit these 3 points and then the NPC can comment on one of those 3 points. It doesn't matter. Whatever they're going to say regardless. Actually have a conversation back and forth. Now, I like the Vault Hunters having unique dialogue, actually feeling part of the story. Like, that just makes sense. That's how conversations work. We shouldn't be a mute protagonist, especially because in action they have battle dialogue, and I love that aspect. So I like that they implemented the Vault Hunters saying something in like main story events and in side missions. Like, the Vault Hunters had something to say, and they advertised the hell out of that in the pre-sequel, and then they just didn't really implement that into 3. Like, yeah, the Vault Hunters said stuff, but it never actually affected the dialogue. And that's just a shame, because there's so many cool things they could do. It warrants replayability. And I understand not everyone plays the game like I do. Like, I want to replay as every Vault Hunter eventually. And not everyone plays that way, and that's fine. But it inspires people to play with friends, play online, and have them once in a while talk to the NPCs so we can hear that Vault Hunter's dialogue. Like, that's just a fun little extra thing. It doesn't really affect the story. It just affects what you hear the other people say. And that's just good old-fashioned fun, really. This is just a category for kind of everything else for the rest of the video. Starting off with no more driving. I fucking hate driving in Borderlands games. It is easily the weakest part. I've been saying it as long as I've had this channel. I hate the driving in this game. All the games, really. Now, they definitely made it better with, like, the cycle, like the single wheel cycle in 3, and the hovercrafts in pre-sequel. But those are all single person vehicles. It would be so much better if they just got rid of vehicles in general. Just let me run around with my guns and shoot stuff. Because the vehicles are the weakest part of these games. Now, if they made the vehicles fun, all right, I'm all for it. I like driving. Like, I used to love Rocket League. Like, I enjoy driving in games when it's done right. But not a single Borderlands has really done driving right. And I kind of want them just to do away with it. In Borderlands 4, get rid of all the driving. I'm done with it. I'd rather just run around and shoot my shit. The next thing that Borderlands 3 added that was not a bad idea on paper but poor execution is the whole Metroidvania idea. And what I mean by that is how every vault we unlock something new that would give us like access into the open world. In theory, not a bad idea. Like, that's what Metroidvanias are built off of, is you go on, you get new abilities, then you go back in the world to previously explored areas, and then you can unlock new paths. I understand that, but it doesn't fit in Borderlands, and I really hate that aspect of Borderlands 3. Like, the whole, like, breaking Iridium chunks to get some Iridium. I hate that, because it just feels pointless, because we get it so early, and now it's just an extra melee attack that means nothing. And then even, like, the Iridium Cipher. I would rather go through, I find those runes, I'd rather be able to hear what they say immediately, not have to basically beat the game, and now have to go back through and find those runes again. It just feels pointless to me. And I understand maybe it implements like, oh, do the new game plus, be a true Vault Hunter mode. And I understand that. So that's not as much an issue for the people that will probably play the game right and do the whole end game thing. I understand that. I do that once per playthrough. But if I miss a cipher and then I want to play a new game, whatever, with a new Vault Hunter, I'm not going to remember to go back through there. So there's ciphers I missed from shit like that. And that just bothers me. It just felt weird. Like, when I get to an area, I want to explore all of it and want to make it feel fully explored. So it really felt like a weird roadblock whenever I'd hit something like, oh, you don't have this thing that you unlock in the third vault. Okay, cool. So now I have to remember to go back to this point after I'm 2/3 through the game, kind of shit. I get it. Maybe I'm the weird one in this, and that's fine. But that just felt like a weird breakup of the game to me. I love exploring areas when I first get to it. I hate feeling like I missed something because I'm not fully equipped to actually fully explore things. If I'm introduced to an area, I want to fully explore that area the first time. I don't want to feel like I have to come back to it later. Mix up a little bit. Not really what we were just talking about, but I miss jump pads. Jump pads are really cool. They implemented them in Borderlands 3 DLC, but why were they not in the main game? Like, that's kind of crazy. And also, like, add-on zip lines. That feels like something that just fits naturally. Add-on zip lines and wall running. That was actually an idea from an Amino. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but he gave it to me in a stream later on, so shout out to him. Thank you very much for that idea. Wall running, like kind of like Titanfall 2 style. Maybe like, even like if it's just like the scamper straight up and then grapple on, because the whole like sliding and mantling mechanic and they had in 3 was so cool. Like, it almost feels like they have to double down on it, if anything else. So why not add some kind of wall running? Maybe not horizontal yet, but add like the vertical straight up, like the wall run straight up, then mantle over kind of thing. And that just would go perfectly with verticality added with jump pads and zip lines. Zip lines is a newer idea, but I think that would fit perfectly into Borderlands as some kind of zipline mechanic. It would just fit in beautifully. That about does it for this one. I know it's a bit shorter and really wasn't a whole lot of new ideas, but this category is so broad that I will probably readdress it later on. But I would love to hear what you guys say, because there are so many new ideas of experimental game mechanics. So I hope, at least in this video, I provide a good basis of what experimental game mechanics are. And I would love to hear what you guys think, because that really is why I make these videos, is to have conversations with you guys down in the comments. So let me know, you guys got any cool ideas? Do you think my ideas are stupid, great, whatever? Let me know down in the comments, as always. Also, be sure to check out my other channel, YC Games. It's the one with the orange logo. And I am still streaming every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pretty much just a little prequel into what these videos are. You know, talking about Borderlands 4 mechanics. Love to talk there. If you guys have any cool ideas you want me to include these videos, that would be the perfect time to address me pretty much live, so I can, you know, do the back and forth kind of thing. And with all that out of the way, thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.